Well, folks, it finally happened. After years of scandals, lawsuits, and investigations that would make even the most hardened mob boss blush, the walls finally closed in on our spray-tanned protagonist. The man who once boasted he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose any voters was found guilty. Guilty! You could practically hear the collective gasp of disbelief from Mar-a-Lago to Trump Tower. The GOP, usually so eager to defend their golden goose, went strangely silent. Ted Cruz was probably busy looking up flights to Cancun. And Mitch McConnell, well, Mitch McConnell looked like he'd rather be waterboarded with mayonnaise than comment. And what about the man himself? Oh, you better believe he had something to say. Cue the angry tweets, the rambling press conferences, the pronouncements of a rigged system and a witch hunt. It was like watching a toddler throw a tantrum in a gold-plated playpen. But beneath the bluster, you could almost sense a flicker of fear in those beady little eyes. The Teflon Don, the master of escaping consequences, had finally met his match. This wasn't Russia. This wasn't Ukraine. This was American justice, baby. Or at least a version of it. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the legal minutia of the trial. Let's just say it was a greatest hits compilation of Trump's worst impulses, abuse of power, obstruction of justice, general shady dealings, you name it, they probably threw it at him. The prosecution presented their case with the precision of a Swiss watchmaker and the relentlessness of a honey badger with a head injury. Witnesses came forward, evidence was presented, and the lies, oh, the glorious, glorious lies, just kept on piling up. It was like watching a game of Jenga played with Trump's rapidly crumbling credibility. The defense, on the other hand, well, let's just say they had their work cut out for them. Their main strategy seemed to involve yelling fake news and deep state as loudly and frequently as possible, hoping something would stick. Spoiler alert, it didn't. But hey, let's give credit where credit is due. They did manage to stretch out the trial long enough for us to get through a whole season of The Bachelor and half a dozen new COVID variants. So there's that. The verdict sent shockwaves through the country, and honestly, it was kind of beautiful to watch. Democrats, still reeling from years of Trump-induced trauma, cautiously allowed themselves a sliver of hope. Could this be it? Could the reign of chaos finally be coming to an end? It was a heady feeling, like accidentally inhaling helium from a birthday balloon. Meanwhile, over in MAGA-land, it was a full-blown meltdown. Fox News went into overdrive, desperately trying to spin the verdict as a win for the silent majority. Protests erupted outside the courthouse, with Trump supporters waving flags, chanting slogans, and generally looking like they were one conspiracy theory away from storming another government building. It was a stark reminder that even in defeat, Trump's ability to sow division and incite his base remained as potent as ever. The guilty verdict shattered the myth of Trump's invincibility. He wasn't a superhero, he wasn't above the law, he was just a guy with bad hair, a worse temper, and a team of lawyers who were probably already drafting their invoices. But let's not kid ourselves, this wasn't the end of Trumpism. The man himself may be facing consequences, but his brand of toxic populism, his disdain for truth and decency, his uncanny ability to tap into the darkest impulses of his followers, that's not going away anytime soon. In fact, you could argue that this whole ordeal only strengthened his hold on a certain segment of the population. They see him as a martyr, a victim of the deep state, a fighter for the forgotten man. The fight against misinformation, against the erosion of democratic norms, against the cult of personality that Trump so expertly cultivated, that fight is far from over. So what does this all mean for the future of American politics? Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. We're in uncharted territory here, folks. Will this verdict embolden prosecutors to go after other powerful figures who have skated by on privilege and connections? Will it force the Republican Party to finally break free from Trump's grip and chart a new course? Or will it simply deepen the partisan divide, fueling more anger, more resentment, and more distrust in our institutions? One thing's for sure, we're in for a bumpy ride. So buckle up, America, because the political roller coaster is about to take another wild turn. And if you need me, I'll be over here stress-eating my weight in Twinkies and trying to make sense of it all.